Evening.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good, very good.
So early we'll have to rush now because at 8 we have the other here.
Where are we on Mishnah on Tzaddik Chesron base?
Hmm?
Where are we?
99.
99.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Jorge.
¿Cómo están? How is everybody?
Good.
Hashem.
And you?
Also, Baruch Hashem.
Good. Good.
Good. Today is my long day. I start out early, go to shul, go to the VA, cover the VA, do some other things in the afternoon, and then get ready for learning in the evening.
I don't hear a nap in the middle.
Mm-hmm. That's the priority. How can you function it without the nap, you know?
That's called that's called the siesta.
Yes, right.
It's
And you know,
sacred.
Guatemalan doctors have come to the conclusion it's extremely beneficial.
Uh-huh. What an idea.
Anyway.
You know, in Uruguay, the shops used to close from around 12 noon until 3 to give people
heat,
time to go home, have lunch, and have a
But that's
small nap, and come back to work.
But that's because of the heat also, no?
Huh?
Not
Isn't it
so
because
much.
of the heat?
It was just, it's a different lifestyle, different mindset. Start
Yeah.
work at 8, 9, work till 12, 12:30, go home, get lunch, take a quick nap, come back at 3, work till 6:30, 7.
Not so late.
No,
Not so
6,
late. They start
6.
6.
And then, you know, you have dinner at 7, 7:30, maybe even a little later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody ate at 5:30 like we do here, or 6. Doesn't exist.
That's right.
Evening, Ernie.
Hi. Good evening. Good evening. We're on Tzaddik Tes.
99.
You give a piece of wool to a dyer of wool, and he ruins it. So the craftsman who was contracted to do work has to pay the value of the wool that was given to him. The value of the improved wool doesn't have to be paid. Lav, isn't this talking about shedichul achar nefila? The Gemara assumes that the cases that the wool fell into the cauldron with the dye, and initially it was dyed well, but then it got ruined, where there is shvach, the ikar shvach. And why is it that he doesn't that he doesn't have to pay the value of the wool plus the shvach? Because Shema Minah, Umin koine b'shvach kli. We learned this yesterday. The craftsman acquires the item by improving it, so he doesn't have to pay the shvach. So Amr Shmuel, no, there's no proof. It got ruined the moment it fell in. The leka shvacha. There is no improvement. So what? Means if it first fell in, died well, and then only later got ruined. So what are you going to tell me? Noisenlo, the Meitzamo Shvacho, he has to pay the owner the value of everything? What? Lema Sheshmua Lesle Dravasi? And an woman doesn't acquire it b'shvach? Amar Lacha Shmuel will say, Hachamai Skinon, Kigon Semer v'Samonim Shel Balabayis. The wool and the various dyes belong to the owner of the wool. And the tzava is the dyer is just a hired worker who's going to do the work. And tzava agar yodeh, he's paid a certain amount for his work. Who the shakil. So there is no concept here of umen, the craftsman acquiring it, because if the craftsman owns the dye, so he could acquire it through shvachli. If you're talking about that the wool and the dye belong to the owner of the wool, so, and he ruined it, it should say, you should pay the balabais, not just the wool, but the dye that was ruined. Ella, you have to say, he's pushing away this Mishnah that it's not a proof for this issue of an umen, a craftsman being coined as something with shvachli, because it could be explained a different way. Toshma, anoisen taliso leumen. You gave a garment to a craftsman to fix. Gamro, lohidiu. The craftsman finished and then informed the bailim that he finished. Now you have to pay a craftsman. And afilu mikan vadasor yomi ein over alav mishum lo soli. There is a law in the Torah. Lo talin pulat sachir itchad boker. You have to pay a worker that day. You cannot wait till the morning to pay him. Well, since the craftsman who's working on this garment has not returned it yet, it doesn't trigger the law of lotoli. If the craftsman gave it back noontime, once Shkias Achama comes, that triggers the love of Baltal if he hasn't been paid. Now, if you tell me that a craftsman acquires the item as he improves it, so amai oiver mishum baltoli. The craftsman acquired it. And it's not really a schar for the avoda. He's getting paid for the item that he improved. So it shouldn't have anything to do with halana schar. Amr of Mary Braid Rav Kahana, Begard to the Sarvla. He was laundering a very thick garment. The leka shvacha. It's not that the garment gets improved. So there's not enough of an improvement for him to acquire it. So well, why was he given the garment in the first place? The rechuchi, to soften it. Kiven the recheche, that's the shvach, and therefore he should acquire it. Lo tzricha, the agre levitchi. He was hired like to press it, like pressing a pair of pants. And bitche b'moasa. Hainu schirus. He's paid not for a finished object, but he's paid for he works for an hour, works for 2 hours. It's not like kablanus, where he's being paid for a finished item. We had original Havamina that we thought he was given a garment to produce a finished, clean garment. Is Messiah Rav Sheshes. It supports Rav Sheshes. The boy is Rav Sheshes. Kablanus. A craftsman that's not being paid hourly. He's being paid to produce a finished project. Oiver alav mishum bal talin. On the day that he finished and he doesn't get paid, is there a lav of bal talin? No, ain't no oiver. Formula Rav Sheshes oiver. He is considered a worker that has to be paid. Lema, the Rav Sheshes pligid Ravasi, is Rav Sheshes arguing with Ravasi that an uman doesn't acquire b'shvach kli. Amar Shmuel Baracha b'shlicha d'igrisa. He's not working on the item itself. He's transporting the item from Los Angeles to San Jose. There's no shvach kli for the worker to acquire it. So there, in those cases, there would be a lav of bal talin. Now, this issue of whether a craftsman acquires an item b'shvach kli, lema kitanoi. Let us say it's about like tanoim. A woman comes to a goldsmith with a piece of gold, and she says to him, "Haseli shirayim nizamin v'tabos." Make me earrings, necklaces, and rings from this gold. The ekadish lecha, and I will be makadish to you through your work, what I would have to pay you. I won't pay you, and that'll be the value that I receive from you to become your wife. Kivan Shason, once he finishes the jewelry pieces, Mikudeshes to Reb Meir. V'chachamim oimer meina Mikudeshes ad she'yagi moment liyada. She has to actually receive something in her hand. Now, my mom, what does that mean? Ilema also momon, you mean the jewelry. Michlal Rav Meir Savar. That also momon lo, that he's arguing, says she would not be Mekudeshes if she gets the jewelry. Elba my Makatsha. If she doesn't get the jewelry, according to Rav Meir, how is she getting getting Kiddushin? So Elpshita, my mammon acher. She has to the guy has to give her another pruta or other money besides the kli. And according to Rav Meir, giving her the jewelry pieces itself will be enough. Now, what do they hold? Savru, the kula alma yesh l'schiris metchil vad sof. When you hire a worker, is he accruing payment minute by minute? And the obligation of the bailim to pay for this rental of his work is from the beginning until the end. And every minute there's a chiyuv. It's just you don't pay it right away. So in the end, it gathers up, and it's like a loan that you owe him, or a debt. And the kula alma hamakadosh b'milvein makudeshes. By her wiping the slate clean and saying, "I'm not going to pay you," because he owed her that money, you can't be makadosh a woman with a milveh. So my love, the umin koine b'shvach kli kamiflagi. The point of my argument between Rav Meir and the Chachamim is, does the craftsman acquire the item that he's working on? Rav Meir Savar umin koine b'shvach kli. He acquires the jewelry. He was given a piece of gold, but when he makes an earring, it belongs to him. And now, when he gives her the jewelry, he's giving her something that belongs to him, and therefore that's why it's a kiddushin. Rabbanan Savi Einam Kinyan B'Shvachli. The craftsman does not acquire it. So there's just a malva, there's just a debt, and you're not mekadesh with the debt. So the Gemara says, "Lo." I can explain it differently. Kula alma ein oimin koine b'shvachli. Everybody holds that the woman does not acquire it. So what's the debate here? You don't owe the guy every minute and it accrues. At the end of the job, you pay him. So it's not a halva. It's a certain amount of money that has to be paid at that time. So if he gives the jewelry without any request for payment, so it's as if he gave her the money, and therefore there's kiddushin. But Rabbanan Sari Yesh L'Schir Mitchil Vatsof. The worker who's improving the gold, he's basically generating debt every minute until the end. Therefore, he builds up a halva, and we're not makadosh with halva. If you want, we can learn the machlokas differently. There is an accrual. Rather, they're arguing if a woman owes a Ruvain $1,000, and Reuven says, "You don't have to pay me, and you can be makadesh, but be makadesh with me with the fact that I'm wiping away the loan." Are we makadesh that way or not? Reb Meir said makadesh b'milva mekudeshes. We hold eina mekudeshes. Rabbanan Savri am mekadosh b'milva eina mekudeshes. Rav Amar Kulama Yesh L'Skir Mitchil Zvatsof. Everybody holds that there is accrual for the craftsman. That if you wipe away a loan or a debt to try to make kiddush, it doesn't work. The craftsman does not acquire a kli when he improves it. So what's the point of the machlokas? He added another silver dollar when he gave the jewelry. When there's a wiping away a debt and there's actual money, the woman has her mind on the actual money. Therefore, she's makadesh. It's $1,000 debt, one silver dollar. The woman doesn't care about the silver dollar; she cares about the $1,000, and therefore you're not makadesh with a milva, so there's no kiddush. They're arguing the following machlokas tanoi. Tanya. Bischar shasiti imach. Be makadesh with the, I owe you for this work I'll be mekadesh to you by not having to pay you. Ein mekudeshes. Bischar she'eseh imach. If it's in the future tense, ein, it's mekudeshes. And Rab Nosson or bischar she'eseh imach, ein mekudeshes. The kosher came bischar she'asisi imach. And certainly in a case, we refer to the past tense. Rabbi Yudah Nasi Omer, Be'emes Amru, in truth, the halacha is, Bein b'schar she'asisi imach, u'bein b'schar she'aseh imach, ein mekudeshes. But imoisif la noifech mishlo, if he threw in $1, mekudeshes. Ma ikir bein Tanna Kama and Rab Nosson. Ikir b'nayos chirus. Between the Tanna Kama and Rab Nosson is this issue of whether there's chirus mitchila vat sof or not, and whether there is even is a malva in that case. And bein Rab Nosson, Rabbi Yehuda, hanasi ikir b'nayu malva upruta. This issue, does the woman have her mind on the dollar or on the $1,000 debt? Okay. Omer Shmuel. Tabach umen shekilkil. You have a shoichet, and he makes an animal in the vela because he didn't shech properly. Chayv l'shalim. He has to pay. Maziku poshehu. He's considered a mazik and a poshehu. It's like a person says to the shoichet, shecht for me here, and he shechted somewhere else. So, maziku poshehu. What's this double language? Yomer maziku. If he would have only been called a mazik, havamina, I would have thought ovid ischar. When he was paid, because his responsibility based on that makes him a mazik, and that's why he's chayv to pay, even if it's a shoige. If he's shechting for free, he's not a mazik. It's like oinus rachmana patri. And you kamash balansha poshehu. He's negligent, even if he doesn't makabel schar, and therefore, even if he did it for free, he's considered a posheh like a shomer chinam who's chayiv b'pshiyah. Esrei Rechama Bar Gur L'Shmuel. Hanoisein behema l'tabach v'nivli. You gave your animal to the shoichet and he made it in a veil. Umin pot. If he's an expert shoichet, he doesn't have to pay. Hedyut, if it's someone who's not an expert, chayiv. But v'nasan l'schar, if he was paid, bein hedyut bein umin chayiv. In either case, you're chayiv. So a tabach that did bechinam would be potter. Amerlei lavor moichech. You're asking questions that don't make sense. Also, Rabbanan Kamosivlei. The Chachamim asked everybody the same question. Amerlei hatzah shakat my deshaka. Chavrech. Kamina l'chuana. Rav Meir, I really am saying my opinion like Rav Meir. The kamrutali Rabbanan, you responded to me that she does Rabbanan. Al Milo diaktamili. Why weren't you careful in what words I use? Shani Oimer, Maziku Sheku. He's a damager, he's negligent. As if you told him shech here and they shechted here. Mandi Islihai Svara. Who is the Tana that has that svara of Meir? The Omar, Mevoyle lemir mi'anafshi. He is responsible for doing the right thing. If he didn't do the right thing, he has to pay damages. Now, hey, Rav Meir, which Rav Meir in Shas teaches me that? Ilay Mahar Rav Meir, it's not. Shor shekosher balav b'mosera. You tied up an ox with ropes. The knob b'fun of Koron, you closed the gate. V'yotz v'hizik. Even so, it went out and did damage. Regarding a shor mu'id, he has to be very, very careful to watch him. Since he didn't do it, he's chayiv. Hasam b'kroi pli. There are different psukim. Elahar Rav Meir Disnan, the following Rav Meir. You gave wool litzvala to dye it. Adam utzvah shachar, red, and it became black. Shachar utzvah adam. You contracted it to be black and he made it red. Rav Meir Omer Noisel made smara. You pay him the value of the wool. So the Gemara says, "Hasam yadayim kulav minei." In the case where he damaged something, the yadayim, he did it directly. Ella, the following Rebbe, it's not. Nishbrokado, a person's jug broke in the street, below silka, he didn't get clean it. Naflag mola v'lo mida, or his camel fell, he didn't stand up, and somebody else tripped on it. Ramei Omer chayav bin zakin, you're chayav to pay damages. Adam, you can't be made to pay in court. Kaimelon, but we learned nitkal poshehu pligi. What if he was a negligent? That's the machlokes. So whether or not somebody who's negligent and he's a poshel, is Rav Meir, he has to be careful where he's going, and he's would he have to pay for damages. Let's stop here. Amar Rabbi Bar Rav Chana. Mars